Welcome to another Wealth Creator Spiritual Path podcast where we'll dive into the connection between the spiritual and financial empowerment. I'm your host, Dreyer, and today's episode is a special one that is going to revolve around the force that we all need to fuel our lives, and that is vitality. Whether you're looking to boost your financial success or find a deeper spiritual meaning, today's lesson will provide you with the tools that you'll need to reignite the energy that drives it all. But before we dive into the heart of this episode, I want to share with you a story. A story that's not just an entertaining tale, but a reflection of the spiritual and the financial challenges that I think we all face. It is called Tatja and the Dragon of Shadows. Now in this story, Tatja, a young woman living in a vibrant city of Valyria, must confront an overwhelming darkness threatening to drain the vitality of her city and its people. Through a journey of inner transformation, she learns that the true power to defeat the darkness lies not in the external force, but in reclaiming her own energy, her vitality. Now, why is this story important? Because, you see, Tatja's journey mirrors the very challenges you may face in your own life, whether it's financial struggles, self-doubt, or perhaps it's the feeling of stagnation. We all have our own versions of the dragon that drains our energy and that holds us back. Now, just like Tatja, you have the power within you to transform that energy and turn obstacles into opportunities. This isn't just a story. It's a teaching tool that holds emotional and practical insights in order to help you to reclaim your vitality and thrive in both the spiritual as well as the financial aspects of your lives. So, as you listen, I encourage you to see yourself in Tatja's shoes, facing the dragon of your own shadows. And once the story concludes, then we'll dive even deeper into today's topic on vitality and break down the spiritual and financial lessons it holds. Through the lens of the Wealth Creator strategy, you'll learn how to harness your energy, how to boost your creativity, and to take actionable steps towards personal and financial growth. This episode will empower you to overcome your obstacles, fuel your creativity, and ignite the fire within you that can drive your success, whether in the spiritual journey or in building a financial future. So stay with me, listen to Tatja's story, and let it inspire you, and then we'll dive into how we can apply these lessons in our own life. By the end of this episode, you'll see how vitality can be your greatest ally in achieving your goals, both spiritually and financially. So, here's the story.
Tatja and the Dragon of Shadows. In the vibrant city of Valyria, a splendid gem cradled within a lush valley, life flourished. Its towering peaks, bustling markets, and spirited people reflected the prosperity that pulsated through the veins of its citizens. Among them was Tatja, a brave young woman who resided in the very core of the city. Renowned for her energy, her enthusiasm was contagious. She inspired admiration with her steadfast determination. Yet, concealed beneath her confident exterior lay a heavy burden. The city found itself trapped in the ominous grasp of a dragon, not one of fire and scales, but one with a sinister presence that threatened to tap the very essence of life from its people. It was known as the Dragon of Shadows. For countless moons, the dragon had silently woven itself into the fabric of Valyria's citizens, weakening their strength. It was not merely a physical force, but an invisible presence, embodying fear, self-doubt, and the weight of gratification. As its influence spread, the people's drive dimmed, yielding to exhaustion and despair, while the pulse of the city began to fade into the twilight. Tatja, despite her own internal struggles, could not bear witness to the city's fall. Her family, friends, and fellow citizens appeared to be losing their spark, their essence drained by the looming shadow of the dragon. With each passing day, she wrestled with the fear that she too might surrender to the darkness. Yet, nestled deep within her, there stirred an ember of strength, a flicker of power she had yet to fully comprehend. One fateful evening, As the sun dipped behind the majestic mountains, casting elongated shadows over Valyria, Tatja encountered an ancient sage. He spoke about the root of life, the very essence of vitality nestled within each soul, and the profound energy of the chakra of creation located at her core. This root, he revealed, served as the foundation of both spiritual and financial vitality, the source of the city's strength. Should she ignite this inner flame, she would be able to confront the dragon and restore the city's spirit. Tatja embarked on a quest, not to the lofty peaks or dense woodlands, but to the depths of her own being. She ventured forth on a sacred path of self-discovery, delving into her roots, the very essence of her vitality. The journey wasn't easy. She confronted her deepest fears, unearthed long-hidden insecurities, and challenged the societal expectations that had long bound her energy. In moments of meditation, she envisioned the energy spiraling upward from her spine, awakening to the revelations that the dragon was not merely an external force, it was a reflection of the fear and denial that had been shimmering within the hearts of the city's people, herself included. As Tatja delved into the depths of the lower chakras, particularly focusing on the root chakra, she sensed an exhilarating surge of life, a vibrant current of vitality that flowed through her like a river of light. This energy wasn't just physical, it was a spiritual essence, the very lifeblood that ignites creation and nurtures growth. In this moment of revelation, she understood that the dragon could only be defeated by reclaiming this energy, not through direct confrontation, but rather by reclaiming this potent energy, transforming it into creative power and unwavering resilience. As the dragon appeared once more, its gloomy shadow covering the city, Tatja stood at the city's edge. This time, she wasn't afraid. Her essence shimmered, a brilliant energy radiating from her core. The dragon unleashed a thunderous roar, striving to envelop her in its shadowy tendrils of fear. Yet Tatja had unraveled a profound truth. The shadows only existed because the light dimmed. With a steady breath, she closed her eyes, envisioning the fire of vitality igniting from her roots, surging through her body and blossoming outward. With her awakened strength, Tatja chose not to slay the dragon in combat. Instead, she embraced its darkness, transforming it into a radiant essence of life. The dragon, a manifestation of fear and stagnation, faded into nothingness, unable to endure the brilliance of Tatja's vibrant energy. The city of Valyria was restored. Inspired by Tatja's remarkable transformation, its people kindled their own inner vitality and the city flourished once more. Valyria became a symbol of balance, creativity, and growth, a realm where spiritual and financial energies danced in seamless harmony.
So let's look at the lessons that we can take from the story. And let's start by understanding the power of vitality and how it connects to the root chakra. Now, much like Tatja had to tap into her inner energy to overcome the dragon, we too must ground ourselves in the foundational energy of the root chakra, located at the base of the spine. Now, this chakra is our anchor. It connects us to the physical world and it fuels our life force. Now, without it, we become disconnected from both our physical and spiritual existence. So, I want you to imagine a river flowing freely, its waters nourishing everything it touches. But what happens if that river gets blocked? Well, it's going to stagnate, and life around it begins to wither. Our vitality works in the same way. When our root chakra is blocked, we feel drained, uninspired, and overwhelmed by life. Now, Tatja's journey showed us that to bring life back to the city, she had to unblock her own flow of energy, her vitality. She, of course, had to dig deep, face the shadows, and reclaim the light within herself. Now, much like Tatja, we often focus on the higher chakras, those associated with our mind and the spirit, and in the process we forget the importance of the lower ones, particularly the root chakra. Yet, without a strong foundation, we can't cope to reach higher levels of consciousness or success. Neglecting this energy center leaves us vulnerable to the dragons in our own lives, whether that's the financial struggles, self-doubt, or the physical fatigue. It's only when we embrace the root chakra's vitality that we can ignite the Kundalini energy, the serpent of potential coiled in the base of the spine. This energy propels us forward, giving us the strength and the resilience to face challenges, just as Tatja did. Now, one of the key lessons from Tatja's journey is the importance of accepting and integrating all aspects of ourselves, particularly the lower chakras. The dragon she faced wasn't just a creature lurking outside. It was a manifestation of fear and doubt, the shadows that creep in when we're not fully grounded. Now, Tatja had to confront her deepest insecurities, the whispers of, you're not good enough, or you can't do this. But instead of running, she chose to sit with them, listen and understand. She realized that these shadows were not there to destroy her, but to teach her. And this is the lessons that we need to understand. The moment that we face problems, those problems are lessons that we need to learn. They revealed where she had been holding back, where she had let fear dictated actions. Through this process, Tatja learned to ground herself in her physical and spiritual essence, drawing strength from her root chakra, the very core of her vitality. Now for us, the lesson is clear. Denying the lower chakras is like trying to grow a tree without roots. We can't build anything sustainable if we don't have a solid foundation. Tatja's realization reflects this truth. She couldn't defeat the dragon until she fully grounded herself, channeling her inner life force. Our journey to enlightenment requires us to embrace all parts of ourselves, especially the parts we tend to overlook. The root chakra is not a burden but a source of our power. It gives us stability, security, and the strength to rise above adversity. Vitality also plays a crucial role in how we connect our creativity and our generative energies. As seen in Tatja's story, the dragon symbolized the suppression of this energy. The fears, the doubt, and the complacencies it represented is like chains that bound the city, preventing its people from thriving. So, in spiritual traditions, sexual energy governed by the root chakra is often misunderstood or repressed, leading to a disconnect from our vital life force. But Tatja's journey reminds us that when we embrace this energy positively, it can fuel not only our personal growth, but also our financial success. Now, sexuality, creativity, and life force energy are all deeply intertwined. I want you to think of it like a seed planted in soil. That seed holds the potential to become a mighty tree, but it needs the right conditions. It needs the water, the sunlight, and the nutrients. When we harness the energy of the root chakra, we activate a circuit of energy that fuels both our body as well as the spirit. This is the essence of creation, the ability to turn potential into reality. And I hope that you can see how this relates then to being a wealth creator. A wealth creator is a person that knows how to create, to grow, to protect, and to enjoy their wealth. And wealth is the 7 areas of wealth that includes the spiritually and the financially, as well as the physical. So in the Wealth Creators University, as an example, we've got a course called the Rainmaker Starter Business. And the Rainmaker Starter Business is where we take an idea, or we even create an idea by following a specific process. We call it the business evaluation process. And we take that idea and we turn it into reality. In other words, when we evaluate that idea that we've got, we want to determine the potential of that idea before we spend any energy in it. And all of this forms the basis, and it starts basically with the root chakra. So Tatja learned to channel her energy upwards towards her higher spiritual goals. She realized that the energy she needed to overcome the dragon wasn't something external. We tried to fight the problem. Now, Einstein says that you cannot solve a problem out of the same consciousness or out of the same mindset that created the problem. But we've created this problem as a lesson that we have to learn. But then we try to solve that with the same thinking that created it. And that's not going to work. In other words, we have to change the way that we think, feel, and act towards that problem in order to be able to solve it. And we have to solve it not necessarily from the mind, but from using the spiritual side of us. We need to tap into it. So the same thing that applies to Tatja applies to us. We must learn to transmute our vital energy into that creative force, turning those obstacles into opportunities for personal and financial success. Now, let's bring these insights into the practical realm of the wealth creator strategy. Vitality is the fuel that drives every action, decision, and success in both the spiritual and the financial realm. Just as Tatja had to reclaim her energy to save her city, we must harness our vitality to achieve wealth creation. It's not about battling external forces, but it's about transforming the energy within ourselves. We always think it's something external. Everything is given to us and was given to us even before our birth. But we have to learn how to look inwards to discover that incredible potential that's within us. So imagine someone who is stuck in a financial rut, much like the people of Valyria, whose vitality was drained by the dragon. Now, when your energy is low, guess what? It feels like you treading through mud. Without vitality, creativity, and resilience, it's basically impossible to see the opportunities to make sound decisions or to pursue long-term goals. You may have the skills, you may have the knowledge, you may have the ambition, you may have everything. But guess what? Without the energy to act, these assets remain untapped potential. It's there, but unless you know how to get into that, it remains untapped. But when we tap into our vitality, we awaken the drive to move forward. Tatja's victory over the dragon represents our ability, our own ability, to overcome the shadows in our financial lives and to create a prosperous future. She didn't fight the dragon. She absorbed its darkness, transforming that into light. This is the essence of the wealth creator strategy. Using that you have, transforming limitations into strength, and turning challenges into stepping stones for growth. It's exactly the same principle that I'm applying right now when I took on that challenge of 100 Rand to turn it into a 10 million property portfolio within a 5-year period. We're now 3 years down the line. I've already bought the property. That property cost only 100 Rand, but I had to use the inner resources that I have in order to be able to apply this. And this is what I want to bring to you. This is incredible, powerful information the moment that you turn that into reality, and only you can do it. So here's a couple of questions that maybe we can reflect on. The first one is, what dragons are draining your vitality? So in Tatja's story, the dragon symbolized fear, stagnation, and doubt. Now, what are the shadows in your life? Whether it's financial strain, self-doubt, or emotional fatigue that are sapping your energy. Recognize that these dragons can only be defeated when you reconnect with the root chakra and reclaim your vitality. But here's the thing, you have to take the responsibility to do yourself. No one else is going to do it. So let me perhaps give you like a practical example. You may be struggling with financial debt, which feels like a heavy burden. The key now is to ground yourself just like Tatja did. Approach the problem with resilience by focusing on small achievable goals and tapping into your vitality. You can take control of your financial situation. Instead of seeing debt as a monster, see it as a challenge that will strengthen you. Now, I don't know if you know, but in the Wealth Creators University, we've got the debt eradication curriculum. And that curriculum basically starts with the mindset, and then it takes you through different techniques that you can use. But the end of that is where you've got the opportunity to either focus on the debt, and there's a system that you can focus in order to get rid of all your debt. It's the same system that I followed way back in 1984, and within 3 years, 7 months, we were out of all the debt. But then there's a second phase to it, and this is something that people don't always get, and that is by applying the wealth creator strategy. You can get, as an example, I've used this 10 million story. If I had 10 million debt, it could be wiped literally within 10 years. But now I have to go within all the techniques that I'm teaching you in terms of the debt eradication curriculum. That is based on trying to solve the problem from the consciousness of those that created it. In other words, the system. But the moment that you change that and you say, okay, I'm going to take the responsibility to gain the skills, then everything changes, and then suddenly debt is not a problem. And it should never be a problem, because let me put it to you another way. There's no bank involved in this deal that I've just made, and that property is giving a positive cash flow, right? So I hope that you can see how crucial these lessons become the moment that you start applying that. What's the second question? And that is, how can you embrace the energy of your root chakra to fuel both your spiritual as well as financial growth? So let's look at Tatja. Her journey shows us then when we ground ourselves in our vitality, that life force that we're talking about, we can face challenges head on. Are you embracing this foundational energy of your root chakra, or are you denying it in favor of only focusing on your spiritual pursuit? I see it so many times where people start with a spiritual journey, but the basics, the root chakra, the matrix, the law of cause and effect, they try to ignore this. You cannot ignore this. Let me give you perhaps a practical example. Perhaps you've been solely focused on the spiritual growth, but you've been neglecting your financial well-being. Now, by grounding yourself, setting clear financial goals, and using the energy of the root chakra, you can bring balance to both areas of your life, and not only to these areas, but all 7 areas of wealth. So, I want you to think like building a house. The spiritual growth is the beautiful structure, but the financial grounding, that's the foundation. Without it, everything collapses. And therefore, you're going to make it extremely difficult for that spiritual growth. The third question is, how can vitality help you in overcoming obstacles and achieving your goals? Now, just like Tatja overcome the dragon by reclaiming her vitality, you too can overcome life challenges by tapping into your inner strength. Vitality gives you the energy and the clarity needed to move forward, whether in your personal, spiritual, financial life. In other words, all 7 areas of life. So let's try again by illustrating a practical example. Let's say you have a creative project that you've been putting off. By tapping into your vitality through practices like meditation, exercises, and reconnecting with nature, you'll find the energy to reignite your creativity and make progress towards that specific goal. And that is why goal setting is so important. There's a specific way to set that goal once you understand the spiritual underlying laws that governs us, like the Hermetic laws. And this is what we are busy with. In the Wealth Creators University, we've got a curriculum specifically called the Power Goals and the setting of that. And then in the first 13 weeks of the Wealth Creators Method mentoring, we take people through the environments, how they've created that environments, how they can use the existing environments that they've got in order to create the life that they want. And in the process, how to identify the resistors or the problems, what caused those problems, how to remove those problems, and then how to set goals according to a process that we call the power morphing. And power morphing is an incredible, powerful tool that you can use the moment that you know your goal according to the power goal setting process. The moment that you start that, you start to reprogram your subconscious mind to give you unconsciously that you consciously want. And that makes life so easy. But guess where it starts? It starts with that vitality. Without that energy that we've got, nothing is going to happen. Right. So I want you to remember how Tatja's visualized the fire of vitality rising from her root. And you can do exactly the same, letting that energy fuel your passion and your drive. Now, before we wrap up today's episode, I want to encourage you to take this journey of vitality perhaps one step further. If you found value in today's discussion, make sure to subscribe to the podcast, that is, if you haven't done so that you never ever miss an episode. I'd like you to share this episode with someone who might need a little boost of vitality in their lives, because I can guarantee you that together we can uplift and empower one another. And most importantly, take a few moments today to reflect on your own inner vitality. Ask yourself another question. How can I ignite the energy within me to create the life that I truly desire? And then write it down and start the process. So if you're ready to unlock more of your potential, this, my friend, is just the beginning. Let's continue this journey of spiritual and financial empowerment together. Now remember, vitality is a force that sustains you. It's a spark that fuels your creativity, your resilience, and your success, both spiritual as well as financially. You have the power to reclaim that energy just like Tatja did in her battle with the dragon of shadows. I'd like you to embrace the mantra I can, because you can overcome any obstacle. You can achieve your goals, and you can live a life full of purpose and abundance. Everything you need, my friend, is already within you. All you have to do is look inwards and go inwards. Now, as you move forward today, feel that vitality rising from your core and let it propel you towards greatness. You are strong, you are capable, and you are vitality. Now, next time, we'll explore the theme of I'm the tree. And just like a tree that stands tall, rooted deeply in the earth while reaching for the sky, we'll uncover how to stay grounded in your values while continuing to grow and to expand in all areas of your life. You won't want to miss it, so stay tuned. So thank you again for joining me today. And until next time, stay vibrant, stay empowered, and remember, you are vitality.